Hey guys, so welcome to Recraft Relic channel, and I hope you are doing well. So yeah, today we are going to talk about Shadow Dome, as you can see here, and I'm just going to do the preview a bit. So yeah, today we are going to talk about Shadow Dome, and basically what Shadow Dome is, that it is basically like a secondary dome which let you help basically create like a copy of your dome, where you don't have to worry about conflicting CSS and all that stuff. I'll explain in a bit. So basically what Shadow Dome, as I have already written an article on the Medium about it, and it was like released in 2019, but I just thought it will be great to refresh this topic. It's relatively new, but yeah, man, it can be a good interesting topic. So yeah. So what is Shadow Dome? So what Shadow Dome is basically that you have a real dome, as we know, in the browser, whatever HTML we are providing to the browser, we have like a real dome. What Shadow Dome allows you to do is create a shadow, create a different dome which is not which is not exactly the part of the real dome. But what Shadow Dome do is, whatever CSS or whatever CSS you're going to provide, or even JavaScript, you can shadow it. You can scope it basically. So whatever CSS you will write inside that dome, affecting that dome, it will not affect the the outer dome, basically the real dome. So for example, you have for example today there are a lot of reusable components, right? And what happens is there are conflicting CSS between between these components. So what you can do is, you can have your real dome as it is, all the CSS and all the styling there. But if you want to give like a uh, a single component or a single area of the HTML, a different CSS, and you don't want it to affect the parent CSS. In some cases we don't have access to parent CSS, right? So instead of overwriting the parent CSS, what we can do is we can attach a shadow dome and put our styling there, and then that component will only use the styling provided in the shadow dome. So yeah, let's get started. I think it's better to show you by an example. So let me create a project. It will be a simple HTML. So yeah, let me create one folder here. Projects, live, new folder, Shadow Dome, right? And let's open it. Create a new file here, index.html, and there we'll write all of the code. Yeah. So HTML, we're going to need a head, and we're going to need a body. All right. So let's create a div here. Div id shadow container, right? And yeah, so this will be the basically the container which will handle our shadow dome basically. So I go here, I do this. Now let's write some JavaScript code. This video will be fairly small, I guess, because Shadow Dome is a like pretty simple concept, but it's a very powerful concept. So yeah, let's get into it. So first and foremost, what I want to do is I want to get the access to the shadow container. So I'm just going to do something like this: shadow container equal to document dot get element by id. You can also use query selector if you want to, but yeah, I'm going to use the element by id. Okay, so now I have, if I go here, inspect this, console this, definitely I will be able to see the shadow container. So let's do that, console this, go here, reload it. So yeah, okay, so it says null because the script is getting executed before the div is getting created. So you know what, we don't need the head right now. So we are just going to go here and do this. So now you can see the shadow container, right? So this is the shadow container. Now in order to, you know, create the shadow, right? In order to create the shadow, you can see we have to do an attach shadow. So what we basically have to do to create a shadow DOM is, so we have the container here, right? So we're going to do shadow DOM equal to shadow container dot attach shadow, and we're going to provide the mode as open. So this is basically, I created a shadow DOM, and now what we we created a shadow DOM. So will we be able to see it here? Can you see this thing? So it's basically the shadow DOM, you know, which will be the, which will like hold all our css in a scope basically. So it will create a scope. Outside this scope, that css will not affect anything. So if I go here and do something like this, shadow, so let's create a, you know, a paragraph. So const para equal to document dot create element, a p tag, and then we set you know, set the inner it shouldn't be HTML, but yeah, man, it's fine. P dot inner HTML to this is a paragraph, and then what I do is shadow DOM dot attach append child p. Let's see what happens. Inner HTML doesn't work on p. I don't think so. Okay, haven't I? Okay, it doesn't, it's supposed to work. Shadow container dot attach shadow mode open con document create element. What I'm doing, it's para dot inner HTML, and I have to what I'm trying, and there is also error as well that p is not defined. So yeah, you can see inside the shadow DOM we have created this paragraph, you know. Now I simply can go and let's write some you know, styling. So to write some styling, we need the style tag. So let's create the style tag. On style equal to document dot create element style here, and style dot inner text can be, so for example, say p color red, right? So p color red basically. So if you now if I go here and shadow dom dot append child style, let's see what happens. Okay, oops. So you can see, the color is red, but how do we determine if this css is not going to affect, the other like the outer dome? So let's do one thing here. Let's create a p above the shadow container. This is not affected by shadow dom. If I go here, reload this, so you can see. So even I have written like a global css, like globally change every paragraph to color red, but it's still not going to go outside this container. So I can confidently write code that my code is not going to affect uh, the parent css or parent code. So for example, if I create a new and another element here, and para1, and just go here and append it as well, shadow dome dot append child, right? So what happened? This is a paragraph. Second para, shadow dot append child, this child, this, yeah. Okay. What I'm doing, it should be para 1, right? So now you can see, right? So you can see there are like two paragraph inside the shadow dome, and their color is like red, but other than that, the paragraph which is outside the shadow dome, it is not getting affected by the style. Just to showcase, I can write a style tag here, and I can say p color green, right? And this will make that p color green, right? But because I'm writing a global css, but because this css is inside the shadow dom, so it's not affecting the other shadow. So now let's do another thing. We can create another shadow container 1, and let's create another shadow dome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of this code into a function create shadow dome, right? And what it's going to do is this id will be passed to it. So identifier from here to here, and para actually, you know what, this all I should move outside. So this is the thing, right? So so create shadow dome will give you a shadow dome. I have to return the shadow dome from here. Return the shadow dome, and what it's going to do is const shadow dome instance equal to create shadow dome, and I will create it for the shadow container, and then I will also create it for the shadow container 1 as well. Yeah, let's make a shadow dome instance 1. And instead of appending to shadow dome instance, I will do shadow dome instance and instance 1. So now one paragraph will be added to the shadow dome instance, and the other will be to this. And in this case, I want to color to be I don't know, black, not black, red. Red it is already, right? Yellow, and I want to append that to shadow dome instance 1, and here shadow dome instance. So yeah, so now nothing is added. Hmm, there is error. Identify style has already been declared. Obviously it is. It is style 1. So I'm making a lot of mistakes actually, and that's why I want to do live videos, because I want to show you guys that it is not all flowers for us. We have to we run into some issues, and then we solve them. It's not always like straightforward. So yeah, you can see, right? So I created two different shadow domes. Here I can show you, right? Here I can show you basically. So yeah, so this is for the red one, and this shadow container is for the the second one, and both have their own different css, and they can coexist differently. Now let's try another thing. So let's go to cd and js. So what I wanted to do is I want to see if I provide bootstrap to one shadow dome, will it affect the parent or the other shadow dome? I haven't tried it, so let's just try it together. Bootstrap, bootstrap. I'm just going to get the CSS, not the link tag. I just need the URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create. So I'm going to remove the styling and everything. Instead, I will create a link tag const bootstrap link equal to document dot create element link, right? And bootstrap link dot I don't know, is it type link or a relation well equal to style sheet, and bootstrap link dot src will be this thing. I don't need just the grid, I need everything now. I think this one is bootstrap, yeah. And bootstrap link dot src, and at the end we will add it to the shadow dome instance one, like the first time it is shadow dome instance dot append child bootstrap link. Now let's see if that worked. So if I go to shadow dome container first, okay, so the URL didn't get added. I'm not sure what's the issue. Let's see what actually the link tag is like. It's href. I forgot so much HTML, working with React and everything. So yeah, you can see the the library getting added here. Now let's try out to create a button and see if that take the default CSS provided by the bootstrap. So here I go, para button dot inner HTML to default button, and let's add this button to the para, and let's see. There is an error, definitely. Para is not defined. Where I'm using para button. So I guess it is not working, right? It should work. It doesn't seem to work. So if I go here, style sheet. Well, style sheet, I give it the URL integrity. I don't know if this is supposed to be there, but yeah, but it's picking up the CSS, so there is something okay. So it will work if we give it the class, right? Between dot class list dot add button, I guess. Button, oh no, it's btn, right? In Bootstrap, yeah, you can see, the CSS getting applied. Btn success, I guess. Okay, so you can't provide it like this. You have to do something like this. Yeah, so you can see the CSS getting applied only on this thing. So let me do the same thing here and see if that works. So button success default button, this will be button 1, and let's add the button to the shared DOM instance. So you can see, right? So the whole idea is basically that you know when you create a shadow DOM and you append elements to shadow DOM, the whole CSS will be scoped to only that area. Your parent and other shadow DOM will not be affected um, by the shadow by the styling of one shadow DOM. Your parent and your other shadow DOM will not be affected by it. So yeah, I mean, that is shadow DOM. And so the next video that I'm doing, it is about like custom HTML elements. So custom HTML element is basically that you don't need React or Angular or any kind of framework, JS framework, to create reusable elements. So right now HTML have their own predefined tags like div, script and all, but you can create your own using React custom, using the custom element API provided by JavaScript. So that is the next video. And shadow DOM is going to be heavily used in there, because one of the most important thing about the HTML elements is the one of the most important thing about reusable custom element is that we need to scope logic or CSS, in a single element. So shadow DOM is going to be going to be used heavily in that. So next video, it will be about custom HTML element, and I'm going to use shadow DOM a lot in that. So yeah, I mean, guys, this is pretty much it for today. And yeah, let see you on the next video.